I was kind of give you like a overview of kind of what's going on, a topic. So we're going to talk about a topic. Then once you talk about that topic, I'll explain it in detail, fully. If you have questions, you can ask questions, and then we'll go into a meditation about the topic. Kind of what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. But Mark Shuriel is still with us, and he is going to open all of our sessions with a prayer from ancient Hebrew. So if you all would, please just bow your heads, quiet your minds.
First of all, giving all praises to the Most High. While you bow on your heads, I would like to also give honor to my brother for the great work that he's doing, and not necessarily knowing you, but I am a witness to the gifts and blessings that have been bestowed upon him and that he shared with me. Iye asher iye. Iye asher iye. Iye asher iye. ותודות לך, יהוה, בשביל ההזדמנות המיוחדת זו, שאתה ברכת אותנו להיות בשלום במקום הזה. קומה, יהוה, ויפוצו אויביך, וינוצו משנאיך מפניך. קומה, יהוה, ויפוצו אויביך, וינוצו משנאיך מפניך. קומה, יהוה, ויפוצו אויביך, וינוצו משנאיך מפניך. Selah. Amen.
All right. So today, I'm going to be talking to you all about healing. A lot of times I get questions about healing, so I'm going to go into great detail as quickly as I possibly can about healing. First, I'm going to talk to you about healing and what is healing. Healing is bringing harmony to discord. It's not always about an illness that's physically in your body. It could be in your mind. It could be in your heart. It could be in your emotions. And it could also be physical. So I want you all to understand, when we talk about healing and we do healing prayers or we do healing meditations, we're not healing just the physical. And we're not talking about just the physical, because anything that is in discord starts in the emotional body. And if you understand, we have four bodies. We have the emotional body, the mental body, the physical body, and the spiritual body. So with the four bodies aligned as one, disease or discord starts as a disharmony in the emotional body. So the emotional body, as it starts to open up and it starts to embody this discord has to manifest as something. So what happens is the discord will manifest as some type of disease or darkness or some type of discord that's in your physical body, or it could come in your mental body, or it could come in your spiritual body. If it goes into the spiritual body, it's going to go into the above. Once it goes into the above, we have to understand the concept of what is above is below. So it will definitely come into the physical body, and it'll probably come into all three bodies, or all the other two bodies, if it goes into the spiritual realm. So we want to understand, what is the mental body? What is the spiritual body? What is the physical body? And what is the emotional body? We want to understand emotion is where everything starts. Emotion is a feeling. Emotion is what's inside of us. So what's inside of us, what we feel about anything, starts to resonate. Because you can guarantee you can go back to any situation that you've ever been involved in, and there is an emotion attached to that. Now the emotion is attached to the feeling. Now the feeling is attached to the mental body, because it gives you the memory. It gives you the thought process. It gives you the what ifs and the hows and how's this go. The mental body is connected to the spiritual body. And if you get too much into the mentalism part of it, then it goes into a spiritual realm. Once it goes into a spiritual realm, it's going to come from spiritual down into the physical. And that's when the discord starts to manifest. So there's many times that people go to hospitals, go to doctors, and they can't be diagnosed with with some type of an ailment or some type of discord. It's because it's something that is manifested in the emotional body, and it's gone through the mental body into the spiritual body, and it's now actually showing up in the physical body. So when we do healing prayers, when we do healing meditations, we want to start by dealing with the emotions, okay? Because the emotions are what gives us the healing. The emotions are what gives us the power to move forward. Because if we have the right state of emotion, then all the other bodies work in harmony. So today, when we do the meditation, we're going to go into deep emotions. And I'm going to tap into your emotions. I want you to release the emotions so that we can release the discord. One thing also about healing is like everything else when we talked about manifestation. Healing is about a state of knowing. So if I can get into your emotional body and I can start to clear the heart, this discord in the emotional body, then I can bring you to a state of knowing that, number one, there's disharmony, and knowing, number one, that we're dismounting that disharmony and bringing it into harmony by bringing balance into the other bodies. And then once we do that, you come into the overall knowing. And when you're in a state of knowing is when you manifest. So like I talked about last week, when we know something, that's what creates. The problem with most of us is we don't know what we're thinking, or we don't know what we know. And that's the problem. Medical doctors always teach us about looking at our health and how things go. And sometimes we get so caught up into the medical three-dimensional side of it that we forget that it is a spiritual side of this, and everything starts in the spirit, starts as the emotion. So I don't I don't debunk medical doctors or Western medicine at all. I believe that, again, it goes into the knowing. So if you're going to a Western doctor and you're in a state of knowing that that Western doctor is going to give you a pill that's going to help you, there's some type of combination of some type of herb, which again goes back to the nature. If you understand that to be your truth, then you need to continue to see a medical doctor, because that truth will give you the strength to move into the emotional body, to heal the emotional body, to send it into the mental body, to send it into the spiritual body, to bring it back down to the physical for healing. So I know it's a kind of a twisted system, but again, it goes back to knowing. If you've never been in a state where you felt healing spiritually, if you felt energy healing, then you don't know what it is. So you're knowing of someone saying, I can heal you by my touch, or by just purely my thoughts, or just my unconditional love for you. Then you're like, I don't believe that, because you don't know it, you don't feel it. But if a doctor says I can do surgery on you, like, hey, I believe it. That's because that's your knowing. So you have to understand what you know. And what you know is what you have to follow that path of knowing. Because that path of knowing doesn't mean it has to be limited to Western medicine. It means it can use Eastern medicine with Western medicine for healing too. And that's just on a physical state. But we want to talk about not just the physical state, we want to talk about the emotional state, the mental state. Because mentalism, if you understand the 7 principles, mentalism is the first principle that creates and causes everything. So if we are mentally in a discord or state of discord and emotion, guess what? We're going to create a memory that creates discord, which creates a pathway. And every time that pathway is created, we go down that pathway when we feel that emotion. So we need to learn how to change our emotions and to create new memories. As we create the new memories, we can create new pathways, and we can create something from the cerebral cortex or the frontal lobe, which basically opens you up to positivity. And that goes from the healing on the 4 bodies into understanding the collective consciousness. So the collective consciousness means that we are all communicating, we're all connected to each other, no matter what, whether you want to believe it or not. We're all connected. People ask me all the time, how am I reading you? How am I telling you and answering questions that I haven't asked you yet? It's because as a collective consciousness, I don't go in as a reader and say, I'm reading you. What I do is tap into your collective consciousness. Our spirits have conversations long before you get here. And I just start to talk about what's going on. And I talk about the different things that's happening. Hey, the different things that's happening and going on within your, hey, how you doing? Within your spiritual body and your emotional body. And it comes into your physical body. So when that happens, people are kind of amazed, but it's really not anything to be amazed at. It's just understanding that we're all part of a collective consciousness. that means we are all connected. That means we are all having conversations and thoughts with everybody in this room. And not just linear, hearing like me to Richard. It's going from Richard to Barbara, Barbara to Christian, Christian to Queen K to me, to Mona, to Sukra. And they're crossing. Everything is crossing. It's like a twisted web. But the thing is, we as human beings try to figure out this twisted web, or this very complex web. I won't say twisted, it's complex. So we try to figure out the complexity through linear thinking. Impossible. Because linear thinking is 1 to 2 or 1 to 1. Conceptual thinking is groups to groups. So you can't ever understand groups to groups, because there might be 20 different thoughts in one group and 20 different thoughts in another group. They crisscross in thoughts, and this thought goes over there and that thought goes over here, and this thought actually goes back into a past life. So it gets even deeper. So I just want you to understand, when we're working through the collective consciousness, through healing, going back to healing, we can heal everything. And as a collective consciousness, if more than one come together and do something, then the power is amplified. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 people in this room, and 20, 21 coming in and one on the phone. So imagine number 22, imagine that. So if there is any space of healing right now, we have a master number of people that will be meditating. Whether you're actually constantly meditating with us or not, you're actually, as a collective consciousness, here to meditate, here to understand healing, and here to give healing and to receive healing. So as a collective consciousness, we're all in a state of healing at this moment, because my whole topic is about healing. My whole topic of even coming in here is about allowing each person to clear the emotional body completely, so at the point where the root of the discord is removed. And when that root is removed, then we can actually move into a pure state of healing. And we're doing it as a collective consciousness. So we got 22 people meditating on healing, 22 people just meditating on clearing the discord from anybody, not just people in this room. When we meditate, there is a bubble of energy that emits outside of this room. When we talk about numerology, we talk about this house. This is a 9 house on a 9 street with a 9 instructor. So we got 3 9s, which basically means completion with a breath of fresh air. Is very easy. If any of y'all have worked with me one-on-one, you can feel the energy that I portray and give to you. It's completely different than you would feel from anybody else. And not that I'm any better or anything from anybody else. I'm just different. Everybody has their own unique abilities, and we have to tap into those. If you look at some of my posts or some of my things that I talk about, you'll hear me say, everyone is my teacher. My mind is open to the point where I will learn from anyone and everyone. That keeps me very humble, and it also allows me to pass my gifts on to the other people. You understand, as a collective consciousness, when 2 or more come together, the energy is amplified. When 2 people come together in a state of healing or a state of motion or a state of movement to move forward, to elevate, to ascend, we're going to amplify that. And also realize it's an exchange. So all of a sudden, who I am, my energy becomes your energy. So that means you can tap into everything that I'm tapped into. That means you have the same resources that I have. If anybody has ever done any work with me, one-on-one, personally, if you sit with me for 10 to 15 minutes, you will receive my energy. And then that way you have a whole other conglomerate of energy that you can tap into. With me, I sit with you, I have a whole other conglomerate of energy that I can tap into. I learn from everyone, and everybody learns from everybody. And when you keep your mindset in that place, you stay humble. And the humility allows you to open up to receive more light, to heal. And that goes back into what we're doing today, is everybody as a collective consciousness, humility, unconditional love, oneness, unity. When we're in a state of unity, when we go into this collective consciousness and we start to learn our actions as we work through the collective consciousness, through our own individual consciousness, we become light. And the more we do this, the more we exemplify these righteous ideals, the more light we receive. And that is what ascension is. People ask, what is ascending? Ascending is not me just going to grow some wings and you're going to float up and fly along. That's not ascension. Ascension is for you to embody the characteristics and principles of the Most High. And when you embody those characteristics of God, of the Lord, whatever you want to call this unique source and this universal source, the source of oneness, call it. Whatever you're doing, when you embody the principles of this, then you receive light. The more you receive light, the higher you ascend. Once you ascend, once your vibration becomes so high, you move into a place of the fifth dimension. When you move into that fifth dimension, you're completely in a state of healing. That means everything that was in discord in the third dimension now is coming into perfect alignment. Okay? So that's what I want you to understand about healing. It's about ascending. As we ascend, it's not about me doing the work for you. It's about us doing the work together. And as we do the work together, we're able to open ourselves up to a higher light. And we're able to embody that light. And we're actually able to exemplify that light. People talk about things. Let me get to your question in a second. People talk about how to ascend. The fastest way to ascend is to be the perfect example of God. We're all humans, so we're going to fall short here and there. But there's going to be a time that we're going to actually perfectly exemplify the Most High. And that's what creates a memory. Remember the memory. This memory now creates a mental, or goes into the mental body to create a memory. This memory now, because you embodied this Most High and this energy, it goes into an emotion. And that emotion you will always remember. So this is what you want to focus on when you're healing. Focus on the emotion, what you feel as I'm speaking to you, as I give you the unconditional love, as I share my unconditional love with you and the Creator. Feel that. Remember this, because as you go into this state of remembering, you're creating new pathways in your mind through the cerebral cortex and not the reptilian brain or the rear part of your mind. Okay? So, Barbara, you had a question.
Yeah, when you're in that state of mind, when you meditate and healing, everything's coming in by order. Others that are around you, whether they're meditating or not, can they be positive?
They will, yeah. As your aura expands from your physical body, anything in its space is going to be affected. So, people ask about, how do I clear discord out of my house or in my home because I'm in a relationship that's of discord? How do you do it? Raise your own vibration. When you raise your vibration, everything around you has to match it, or it's going to fall away. It's going to move. So yes, if your vibration raises, just like coming into this house or going into the healing room, when you sit in there, I would say, like, ooh, something's different in here. It's because it's pure unconditional love that's starting to work on your emotional body right as soon as you walk in that room. As soon as you walk in this house, the energy starts to work on you. And it starts to break down all those old paradigms of thinking and three-dimensional thought processes where you can't. It eliminates the can't. It eliminates the phases or the thought processes of your lack or limiting abilities. And when you come into this house, you're spirits before you're human beings. And if we can understand that we're spirits, and when we live that spiritual life, that's where we get the ascension from. The spiritual life that we live is embodying the characteristics of God. When we live the spiritual life, it doesn't have to do with anything with religion or creeds or anything like that. It's the spiritual life. It is the connection to the one source, the only source, the Most High. So, any questions? No questions. Everybody's so quiet.
We're just
Okay, all right, good deal. Sounds good. Queen Kate. That's my new buddy right there. Queen K is powerful for it. Okay. Richard, I'm just telling you now. I'm just telling you. We did some powerful atonements this last week, so she got some energy circulating. Yeah, powerful. So a lot of powerful people in this room, a lot of powerful energy. So I want you all to understand the power of the collective consciousness. So I want everybody to come together as one as we meditate. We're going to focus. We're going to open the meditation with a prayer from Mak Shuriel. And then I'm going to lead us into a healing meditation. And as we go into the healing meditation, I want everybody to collectively open your hearts and just fill your hearts with unconditional love. And that's all you have to do. You don't have to hear what I'm saying. Just fill your hearts with unconditional love and watch how everything flows. I will direct out everybody's energy, and I will correlate everything together, and everybody will get the light to start to ascend. And you'll start to move into that fifth dimension. When you move into that fifth dimension, all discord disappears. So all disease, all ailments, everything leaves your body. And that's the purpose. Now, the key is we got to stay in that space. We can't ascend today and go turn up tomorrow in the club and they expect to stay in that ascension space. We're not going to do it. We got to ascend. And even if you're going into the clubs or whatnot, if you're going into the clubs, into those places to bring love, then you're going to be fine. But when you're going in there to drink, be careful with alcohol. Alcohol will take you down so fast, it's ridiculous. That's why they call it spirits, because it opens up every lower spirit within the human body that it can possibly give, even the wine. So just be aware of that. Just be careful when you're trying to ascend. Just be careful of your habits. Just because you want to heal. And when we talk about healing, this universal healing of all the bodies. It's bringing unification and harmony to all four bodies. And when we do that, then we ascend. We receive light. Today, I'll be playing some music off the speaker with some drums, and then working the students. I'll also be doing some chakra healing, chakra balancing with the little singing bowls. And I'll play my little tongue drum here for a little while. So it's been a minute since I played the tongue drum, so I might be a little rusty with my rhythms, but we'll get it in. All right. So with that, I think it's a baby in the bathroom. Okay. That's right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you were saying, we get what we give, and it's up to us to maintain that level, so we have to nurture it. Right?
Yes.
So some
yes.
suggestions on nurturing. I listen to the sound bowls. I listen to the binaural beats, frequencies,
right.
things of that nature. Any other suggestions?
Yeah, that's a good question. Suggestions to keep ourselves in that high frequency, in that frequency where we're aligned to receive light. Singing bowls are good, binaural beats are good, guided meditations are good. But one of the most, the potent things we can ever do to keep us in that space is sit quietly, quiet our minds, let our bodies go into a relaxed state, and open your heart and love the Most High. When you do that, that's a direct link. There is no sound bowls, there's no healing. You will get every frequency that you need from the Most High. The Most High is everything. So, I tell you, if you want to reconnect, to stay in this space, and people always want to, I want to hold my hands in this mantra, I want to hold my tongue here, I want to do this, I want to feel like I'm getting this high. It's not about feeling the high. That's a three-dimensional thing that your mind says, I want to do this. That's your ego wanting to get some type of pleasure. Forget that. What you want to do is quiet your mind and go to a place where you're in complete peace. And when you get to that place of complete peace and serenity, then your body will do amazing things and you will feel amazing things. But if you're looking for it, trying to force it, I'm trying to levitate, I want to do this. No, it's not going to happen that way. That's mentalism. That's using your mind to defy gravity, which if you get strong enough, you can. But if you do it spiritually, it's a lot easier and it's a lot safer, because then you're not using ego, which is always going to have a hidden agenda, and it always wants to have power. If you do it through unconditional love of your heart, then you just basically sit quietly, not even, and this thing, I'm sorry, let me back up. This is the thing, don't try to do this for 30, 40 minutes. Literally just for 30 seconds, for a minute, for 2 minutes, sit and quiet your mind to the point where you get really relaxed and open your heart and just think about everything that you love, everything that's the dearest to you, the closest, and then put that into gratefulness and gratitude to the Most High for giving it to you. And then love the Most High. That's a step to get to the Most High fast. Because now it's like you think, how do I love the Most High? I don't get it. Well, what you do is you love what you love because the Most High gave you what you love. That's right. And what the Most High gave you as what you love, then you can take that step into, now I can love the Most High because He gave me everything that I desire. And He gave this to me. So then you can tap into it. And sit there for like 15, 20, 30 seconds and watch how your whole body just illuminates. Yeah. It's simple. That's the easiest way to do it. I mean, I could tell you 1,000 different ways. Do the yoga, do this, listen to this thing. I can give you some meditations. I can take some prayers. Right, exactly. Yeah. Because the Most High provides exactly what you need perfectly. And the Most High is never wrong. So when we put this little ego into it, this mind, let me listen to the binaural beats. Let me listen to the singing bowls. Let me listen to these things. That's where we kind of slow ourselves down. Even in meditation, it's about not even using music sometimes. It's about just being quiet and hearing your breath. And then let your mind take you and give you the music and the sound that you need. So anything that's around you should make a difference. But people always tell me, people making noise, they're crying, they're doing this or that. And if I'm distracted. Are you ever going to be in a space in your life where there is no distractions? Never. Very rarely, I won't say never. Never is only absolute is God, but there's always something. So learn to move past that, because if you're hearing crying, if you're hearing discord, guess what? If we're in this room, then that child or that person is releasing. Open your heart and send them love and help them to release faster. And then take your mind back into yourself and then allow the Most High to take your energy and spread it out. And then you separate again, you remove yourself again, and you move into different spaces. So that's what I want everybody to learn. It's not about being in a space that is controlled. You know, a lot of people say this is a controlled space. I like the space. It's controlled because I control it, but now I'm starting to let go of the control, because now I'm seeing people are starting to use a space as a control system to give them what they want, and then they will only get it here. So you got to be able to get it in the midst of chaos. If you are in chaos, you just have to literally just stop, open yourself, and quiet. Because guess what? If chaos is around you and you center yourself and you bring bliss to yourself, the chaos will disappear. Or you rise above the chaos, and the chaos can never touch you. There's times that I've walked through gang-infested places. There's time I've dealt with gangs where there's so many people that want to murder and kill the people that are sitting across from them. And when I come in with a certain energy, the whole room shifts. And there's all of a sudden love, and we can talk. But that's because I'm giving them that energy. And I'm rising above it. I'm not going there, oh, shoot, I need to put my strap on. I need to put my gun in my pocket, and now we need to be ready. No, I don't do that. You just go in there with pure love. And just, you know, go in there with expectation that God is always going to provide for you. And know that. Expect it and know it. And then the magic works. But it's not me. It's God. I believe in God. So I believe God is going to change whatever needs to be changed, so I'm safe. That's all you have to do in any situation. But that knowing. Said belief takes it to another level. Yeah. Knowing is a whole another level from belief. Okay. So on that note, yes, please.
Greetings. And all the greetings that represent peace and love. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in your midst. I have a gift, like my brother. It's a different gift. I'm able to measure energy coming out of the ghettos of Chicago, where I grew up, born. I was blessed to learn these prayers in Northeast Africa, where I've lived for 45 years, between the furthest point where I live right now over the Sea of Galilee, the Red Sea, the Mediterranean. That now I've had the pleasure of engaging that energy, so I'm very able to engage your energy, feel it, calibrate it, etc. So I'm thanking you for the energy that you bring here, you know. Before I pray this prayer, I want you to know that it's a prayer for ascending, how would you say, brightening your light, you know, and becoming in oneness, atonement. There's a prayer that says, Shema Yisrael, Chid, Yahweh, Bino Yahweh, Chad. It means in oneness. It's at one mint, right, with the Most High, you know. Not when on Sunday you put on your going to meeting clothes or whatever. It's something that exists in you continuously, right? And you love it, you know. Ahava Shlema. It means like a perfect love. Actually, that's what Jerusalem means. It means inheritance of a perfect love. Yerushalayim. So, yeah, I've been in Egypt. I know my people there. I've been in Nubia. I know my people there. I've been in South Africa. Yeah, I know us. I know us. So, say this prayer. I take it.
Oh, you're fine. Take it.
Take
your time. Take your time.
Because I could talk for about 30 years. I mean it. That's how much has been put in me, and how much I've seen, and how much, you know, when I see love and I see ascension, then how feel my heart is with that. Amen.